We go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Jess. I'm the benefits specialist here at the consortium. Today with us, we do have Christina Morse and Krista Mugford from the Cuba Center for Healthy Living to walk us through healthy, nutritious meals, and they will actually be preparing some for us. We will save questions for the end of the presentation, so be sure to write them down so you don't forget them. As they'll be sharing the screen and also preparing in a separate video, it may be beneficial for you to change your view if you click view at the top and do side-by-side gallery. That way you can see both the screen and their preparation of the meals. I will hand it over to Christina and Krista now.
Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for joining us. We are really happy to be here to talk about our passion, which is lifestyle medicine and choosing whole food plant-based nutrition when able. I'm a family nurse practitioner and I'm certified in lifestyle medicine as well as had some coaching, whole food plant-based coaching certificates. And my undergrad was in hotel food management as well as nursing.
And hi, my name is Krista Mugford. I'm a registered dietitian. I've been doing this for probably about 20 years, providing nutrition counseling. And actually, my original degree is in business, but I made a transition as my second career to nutrition.
So just a little logistics, put questions in the chat, and then if you put your name or, you can do your first and last if you'd like to. The session is recorded and you will have access to the recording later, I'm understanding, and they'll also send you the information on the recipes and shopping lists. Next. So we don't have any disclosures or conflicts of interest. That's my background there. Next slide. And now my why am I so passionate about lifestyle? Well, I try to walk the talk and teach the talk and help patients where they're at to get to a healthier lifestyle. Next slide.
Similarly, for me, originally I got into this field more for selfish reasons. 20 years ago, trying to manage my health and understanding. I actually, at that point in time in my life, I was very fortunate to be on the West Coast, where bountiful fruits and vegetables, farmers markets, local foods. So I was really exposed to it. And so when I started making some changes and noticing some health benefits for myself, energy level, mobility, provided some healing, that I wanted to share this knowledge. I really got into it a lot more, and so realized nutrition could be a field where I could practice and help others with a passion I had. And so I have been doing this for about 19, 20 years now, counseling individuals. And I'm a firm believer. I always say to people that I want to help you reach your health goals by using food and lifestyle behaviors, but my focus is on food to help, whether it's youth for, development and growth, and or preventing a disease, and whatever your health goals are. Let's work together and try to use food to help improve that. So I look forward to talking to you today and sharing all little tidbits that we have.
So hopefully we can go over a little bit of why whole food plant-based diet is a way of nutrition, is actually a shift in nutrition and not so much a diet. We're going to do a cooking class. It's actually a non-cooking cooking class, so I'm hoping that you'll glean some thoughts about how you could do some food prep to help you on your weekdays when you might be incredibly busy. We're all very busy. Some of us have small children, some have older children, and some are grandparents, but there's always social demands. And looking at how you yourself personally could write what we call SMART goals, which are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, but they're those small steps that are timelined for your long-term health wants and needs. And then look at resources such as dietitian resources, someone like me who's a nurse practitioner, or we have physician here, physical therapy, or if you are lucky to have a sports medicine program or a trainer or a health coach. There's just so many resources out there, even online. And then we hopefully can answer some questions. So our objectives are you to be able to list one benefit to meal preparation, how this can assist you to eat healthier. We're all in our own little trajectory, and also identify one resource to move forward from the standard American diet to a whole food plant-based diet. We're going to talk about that in detail, what that means. Next slide. We know, so this is my passion, right? We know that 80% of the standard American diseases are preventable, and many of them are reversible with lifestyle. And major guidelines that providers follow talk about lifestyle interventions, but what does that mean to the provider, and what does that mean to you as a person engaged in your own health journey? So we're going to talk about the SAD diet, standard American diet, which actually Krista will also get into, and how you can move forward from wherever you are on that trajectory. Next slide. Also, one place where you can really take hours and hours and hours and hours of information to look at the research. Dr. Greger has a website called nutritionfacts.org if you want to jot that down or make a screenshot. I brought up this one presentation. It's really interesting that, ultra processed plant-based foods, depends if they're good for you, it depends on what they're replacing. So, but that's a whole hour meeting, and he has plenty of other documentaries like How Not to Age. You have a book, How Not to Die, How Not to Diet. He goes into deep diving into research all over the world, and a good place where you could go find some great facts. And part of the role that I have here at the Cuca Center for Healthy Living is meeting with someone like you and talking about the lifestyle pillars. We run through 6 pillars of health. So physical activity, where are you? How can you be more active? Guidelines state you want about 150 minutes of cardio, moderate, per week, and you need about 2 to 3 days of strength training. Stress management. What is it that makes you stress? There's a lot of stress in the world right now, as well as stress that we bring to the table from things that we hold in our hearts. So stress management is really important to take care of that heart, take care of your emotions. And there's ways that we can, like, let's all together take a big deep breath on a count of 4, breathe in, and then breathe out on a count of 4. Doing several of those in a minute can just help reduce that sympathetic stress drive. So it's one way that you can calm down when stress seems overwhelming. And then avoiding risky behaviors, which includes the usual drugs or alcohol. And then we also put in there ultra processed foods in a lot of cases because they lead to diseases, as well as like sugary beverages and sodas and other things that are ultra processed. Restorative sleep. Sleep is a big health pillar, and some people who don't sleep well have sleep problems. One that comes to mind is obstructive sleep apnea. I actually have obstructive sleep apnea. I treat it, which makes you healthier. So looking at your sleep, some people have insomnia, treating the insomnia. Some people have what's called periodic moments of sleep. So we like to look at someone's sleep, and some people sleep great and have no problems with sleep. That's their superpower, as well as social connections. And we know that with love and social connections and emotions, social connections can be good or bad. Hopefully it's more good than bad, but working on those connectivities, which are so important. And we know COVID put a real angst on that. And then today we're going to talk a lot about the nutrition and whole food benefits. So this slide talks about what Americans eat. We know that we have an overweight and obesity epidemic. We have 70% of our nation that has could be defined by a BMI of elevated more than 25 as either overweight or obesity. And it seems to have plateaued, but that's a lot of people. And we think that I think research has shown that it stems from the standard American diet, because as these diets move into other countries, the people are starting to get sicker and get these standard American diseases, right? So on this trajectory, on the far right of your screen, you see the whole food plant-based eating plan, which is strictly everything from the ground. But where you are on that trajectory and how you can manage things are something we'll talk about today. If you go fully whole food plant-based, there's other things you need to do. So you really need to investigate it, because there's some things like vitamin B12 that you need to take supplements for. So working with a dietitian or someone who does whole food plant-based vegan can be helpful. Next slide. Nutrition is food is medicine. Did you want to say something about that?
Well, in my field, definitely. That's what I do. When I work with clients, we talk about their health goals, and I'm always talking to them about food is fuel, right? Bottom line, that's what we need. We all need food to survive. So it's kind of like on a continuum. So you have food for survival, but I want to work together because I want to get you actually to the thriving. There's surviving to thriving. And so I want to help you and support your health goals to get you there, to maximize your health. And so I'm a firm believer in that we can use food in conjunction with other strategies to maximize your health. Basically, using food as medicine.
So when you think about whole food plant-based nutrition, there's different dietary measures like vegan, which some of you may not know what vegan is. When you take everything that does not have animal products in it, and that's the only thing you're eating. But you can have vegans that eat a lot of ultra processed food, like potato chips, right? Technically, potato chips are vegan. Is that a standard American vegan sort of thing? You could take and slice potatoes really thin and spray it with a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil and roast them in the oven and make your own chips. So that's getting a little less ultra processed to a processed potato from the ground. Same with vegetarian. You can have a whole food plant-based vegetarian person, and a lot of times people who are vegetarian may have dairy, or they may incorporate dairy, I think eggs.
Oh, depending on what it is, yeah, because I'll clarify lacto ovo. So if you do dairy, it would be lacto. If you do eggs, it would be ovo. So there's different types of vegetarian style eating patterns.
And then you have the Mediterranean, which also includes animal proteins. And we're going to show you a pyramid on that, as well as a DASH diet. So somebody who has high blood pressure, we may try to discuss the reading labels and limiting the sodium for that medical reason. And when you combine the Mediterranean with the DASH diet, it's called the MIND style of nutrition. So there's a lot of research behind this, and I know it's a lot of information, but you definitely could use Dr. Greger or see a dietitian or see someone like me to see which nutrition pattern works best for you, so that you can have the benefit of fiber in your diet, because plants have fiber, animal products do not. Next slide. So on the left is the Mediterranean diet. You can see that as the triangle goes up smaller, meats and sweets, where at the very top, are meant to be treats, probably not weekly or maybe weekly. Poultry and eggs and yogurts and all of that is next, and then a lot of seafood. Now the centenarians, which are people that live to be 100, a lot of the data comes from them on the Mediterranean diet and lifestyle. On some of the pyramids, and I see mine got cut off, they have on the bottom the lifestyle things like playing with family, socializing, and all of the lifestyle stuff we were talking about. Those are so important to stay healthy, because we can be healthy and be like a centenarian that's out in the garden harvesting food. It's amazing. So there are some videos you can watch, and we'll also talk about that. But there's oh, The Game Changers is one. There's the Twin Study. There's these are on like Netflix. You can find some good quality things that talk about How to Live to Be 100 is another one. And anyway, so when you take that lower part of the pyramid and you want to do vegan, whole food, plant-based, that's what the one on the right. And Brenda Davis is a dietitian out of Canada, and she could be somebody that you might want to look into her information because she goes into like, if you're going to go vegan, then these might be some extra things that you need, which is in the small plate on the right side there, there's a little vitamin there, and talks about, iodine sources, but you can get that through seaweed. And definitely in this neck of the woods where we live, we need vitamin D from September to May. And so talk to your primary care about that. Next slide.
So some of the things, actually, these are two plates I commonly share with my clients when they come in. The first one you'll see on your left side of the screen, the heart healthy plate. I feel like I like the pyramid style, but then I often have clients saying, well, Krista, what does this look like? How do I put a meal together? What should my plate look like? And so the two plates, so the one on the left is a heart healthy. And then the one on the left is when people are sharing with me, I really want to improve my blood glucose level, whether it's you have some family history that you're trying to prevent prediabetes or diabetes, or you've gotten your A1C done, blood glucose level, and you have concerns that you want to try to have better management for the blood glucose level. So these are two plates I commonly go to. So I'm going to start with the one on the left, the heart healthy plate. This takeaways from that. Half the plate, colorful, rainbow of colors. Half the plate, non-starchy veggies and fruit. Trying to incorporate more of that into your daily routine. Why? Fiber. Awesome. We know for heart health, we want to increase our fiber. Typical American diet, most people, they say about 11 to 14 grams of fiber a day, when actually we're kind of shooting for more like 25 and 35 grams of fiber a day. That's what the research shows for heart health. Fiber can bind onto cholesterol and excrete it out. And then about a quarter of our plate, I'm going to go, actually, I'll go clockwise. So I'll go up to the top, protein. We're going to be talking a little bit about that today too. And you guys probably all know protein, protein, protein. It seems to be right now in the media that they're talking about. But what we want to do is we want to focus on lean protein. Today we are introducing plant-based forward type protein. But you as well can incorporate, seafood, chicken without the skin, how you prepare it. Don't deep fry things. And then we'll continue on clockwise and we'll be talking more about as well, but focusing on about a quarter of your plate being whole grains, complex carbs. This is where the fiber is as well. This helps with satiety. And so thinking about foods that your body has to work at breaking down. So that's for the heart health. And then you'll see similarly on the diabetes plate on the right-hand side, very similar, right? Half the plate here, they're talking about non-starchy veggies. Going to go clockwise. A quarter of it would be your carbohydrates. And then a quarter of it would be protein sources. And this really helps. A plate method like this can be really helpful at managing your blood glucose level. All right.
Right.
So we are actually, I'm going to go on. We are going to start. Christina is going to get onto the cooking demonstration side of our presentation today. So this is part I'm hoping we tried to put this together so you'll have some different views if you want to pin that. You'll see right now we are working on our menu for today. How about we start with that? The menu for today is we are going to do a fruited drink to start off with.
I'm going to add some lemon. So I'm just going to cut some lemon.
So we'll be doing berries and lemon and into water, like an infused water.
So I have a handy squeeze thing, but you don't have to have this. So take half the lemon and squeeze it in there. Very good. And then I'm just gonna throw these couple slices in here, and I have some, when I notice my fruit is starting to go bad or not going bad, but I've had it in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 days, I freeze it, and then it's starting to thaw already, but I stick it in here as ice cubes. And this will serve as my beverage for my meal. Oh, blueberries got a little crazy. I'm human. Right. And we have our fruited beverage. You can also add herbs to it. You can add cucumber to it. You can have any fruit, any vegetable you
Mint,
want to it.
basil. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to put this aside. If I were at home, I'd put it in the refrigerator. All right. I want the fruit to get into the water a little bit to give it some flavor for my meal. Now, thinking ahead, I know that my I know my dessert needs to be refrigerated a little bit, so I'm going to make my dessert first.
And that's going to be a cranberry nut energy bite.
And yep, you got it. Good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So ingredients for this will be will be some oats.
Now my mise en place, I set up all my stuff. I pre-measured it last night to make it really easy because I just got home from work. I'm tired. I don't want to mess too much with things. So there's the oat and the flax meal. So add that. And then the peanut butter, pre-measured out. You can see it doesn't take much time if you do some food prep. So on the weekend, you can prep these things and stick them in the fridge and have them ready and measured and everything. And then maple syrup. How much maple syrup? Because I didn't measure this ahead of time.
Yeah. A quarter cup.
So a quarter cup of this.
A little bit of sweetness to it, a natural sweetness to it.
You could use honey, or you could use, I prefer maple syrup over honey, but you could use honey as well in this recipe. And I have the real McCoy. I don't use the ultra processed maple syrup. So this is what I'm using. Any brand will do. All these has a nice organic one. And then I have a bullet. If you can see it, I'm just going to bullet this. And I'm going to shake it a little bit. And then bullet again. Okay, and then part of it is some trail mix, which I'm going to put into the bottom. I have some sunflower seeds and some raisins, which are really good.
You could make your own trail mix, or you could actually buy some trail mix,
Yes.
little packets of trail mix that's already made, put together. So sunflower seeds, some nuts, cranberry. The oats are a great source of fiber. Flax meal is wonderful. It has some fiber, omega-3s for heart health. And then we have the sweetness maple syrup. And then for protein, we have the peanut butter and some seeds.
Make that like that. All right. Now you can use a tablespoon or you can use a little measure. I like to use the measure. So get a serving, roll it up, and we're going to put these in the refrigerator, make them little balls.
I love these for desserts, and I love these as well, snacks to bring to work. And I have young kids, teenagers, and actually they enjoy these energy bites after school, an after school snack or after sport for any athletes.
And this is gonna make about 10 balls. It says 12, but I think I got a little generous. But you see how the consistency, it's easy to use a bullet, or if you have a food processor, is best. You probably could do it with a fork, but you're gonna have to use a lot of arm. If you have a mixer, that might work, but maybe a blender if you don't have the one thing. So, all right. Well, I'll make it. They're getting smaller as I go along. All right. Well, and you can keep these for about a week in your refrigerator. And if you're not going to eat them in a week, I would suggest you freeze them, and then you can just pull them out when you're wanting them.
Smell good.
Dessert. And I also made some at home, but I put more trail mix in it, and I did add chocolate chips.
Okay.
There's our dessert. We'll put that to the side and get on with our main meal. At this point, I'd wash my hands, but since we don't have a sink in here, I'm going to change my gloves. Here.
All right.
Okay.
The main part of our meal is going to be a grain bowl.
How's this going for everyone? Are you able to see the screen with the preparation?
Maybe we give a thumbs up if everything's going well, or maybe put in the comment section if it's not working.
The other thing I put out but forgot to mention is in the fruited water, you could add like cold water infused herbal teas that don't have caffeine to give it some extra flavor. Sometimes I do that for my daily water.
Oh, I heard, yeah, it's working well.
Oh, great. Okay, so I package for the quinoa you have over there. Yeah, packages.
Oh, not that one.
So
Okay.
I make quinoa ahead of time. I actually did 6.5 cups of quinoa in preparation. This is 3 cups of cooked quinoa. That's part of the grain bowl we're doing for the salad. And this is triple color quinoa. It has a lot of nutrition facts on the back. One thing is this has 0 sodium. So if you're in a pinch and you're buying something already pre-prepped like this organic quinoa and brown rice with garlic, you could use that in this dish. But do notice it has sodium, 360 for the serving and 580 milligrams for the full. And that becomes important when we're thinking about the DASH diet or the total sodium for the day. Typical Americans, I think it's 2,600 milligrams of sodium a day, but if you're on the DASH diet, it's 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day.
Yeah, so having a target of 1,500 to about 23, 24, yeah, 100 for the DASH diet.
Dietitian, but very important.
Yeah.
Questions?
So generally, we're trying to be mindful, and the reason for that is for blood pressure purposes, for heart health, and so reading the labels in my appointments as well. We always practice reading the labels. Generally, a little tip when I am reading labels is looking at sodium, 10% or less of the daily value, you can assume is a better choice. When it's anything more than that, and if it's up past 20% of the daily value, that's when you can note to yourself, yeah, that's getting a little high.
Okay, so we have our quinoa. Next is our broccoli. I prepped fresh organic broccoli, but you also can buy florets. Now this meal is going to cost you about $2.50 per serving. But if you go with prepackaged stuff, it's going to cost you a little bit more, but not that much more. So I'm going to add my 2 cups of broccoli. I like to chop it up really fine. So if I would have opened those florets, I would have had to chop them really finely. Ooh. That works really good. There's the broccoli. And then next we have the grated carrots. I did, for time's sake, I bought grated carrots. You want to cut that for me?
Yeah, happy
Por
to.
favor.
Does that work?
Yep, that's
Okay.
perfect. And just from experience, I know this is about 2 cups of grated carrots. So we're going to put that in here. As well as I think then we're to the purple cabbage. And Krista, when I get mixing this and dishing up she'll talk about all these micronutrients that are so nice to get from colorful plants and colorful dishes. And then we have the green onions. Now, you don't have to do onions. I love onions, and I usually do garlic. I forgot to do the garlic, but we're going to put in green onions. I chopped it into little circles because that's how I like it. You could dice it any way you want to with your knife. So put that in here. So colors. And then, thank goodness this didn't fall down. We're going to go on to the cilantro, and I couldn't find enough basil, so I changed out to parsley. So put that here.
I love with these grain bowls the flexibility of the different items you can have.
So here's my parsley and cilantro. I won't go as heavy on the cilantro. That's just a personal preference of mine. And I won't use as many stalks on it. So, but I'm going to take about probably half of it. Got my knife. Safety, nice safety. Keep your fingers out of the way when you're slicing things. Last thing you want to do is have to go to the ER. So you curl your fingers back. And you can just and I would have chopped this last night, but I think the herbs kind of tend to get really wilty. I like them a little crisper. And also with this grain bowl, you can save this for about 5 days in the refrigerator, and you can just add it to your meal. You can either have it as a side dish or it can be the main meal. Take some of these stems out. They're pretty. I actually have a special herb cutter at home. Most people don't have that. Okay. Cilantro. Parsley's next.
One tip I have with how do you prepare your quinoa, Christina?
So I take my filtered water and I put in the allocated amount from the package. I do just rinse it once, but rinsing it can be a pain because it then sticks to everything.
Yeah.
And then I put it in the pot and I just turn it on, and 15 minutes later I cover it and it's ready.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward.
So easy.
I actually have a rice cooker at home.
Oh, okay.
And I know. I find like I use that quite frequently. And I know now about how much water ratio to the quinoa. And yeah, you hit cook and it just goes. And when it pops up when it's ready, it's completed. I find that very convenient. And I actually will mix different grains in there. I might do it with some brown rice and quinoa just for a little variety.
And what I like about quinoa is we talk a lot about complete amino acids in food. And it's my understanding from other dietitians that
Mhm.
quinoa is one grain that has complete amino acids in it.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike if you were to have rice, you probably want to add beans to get that
Complete.
complement.
Yeah.
But Krista could definitely
Yeah.
tell you more than I about it. Yes?
Yeah. I'm actually gonna just kind of go through, if that's okay, just the power,
Well,
just
cutting up.
cutting
You
up. Is
guys
that
find
fine?
it boring, yeah.
Yeah.
She'll
Okay.
cut the-
You guys can keep watching Christina there as she's doing the meal prep, and
And
I'll
when
just
I get to change from this, I'll tell you because I'm doing some more stuff.
let me know. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just show you some of the pictures here of the different bowls we put up here. As we said, you can use a lot of different ingredients to customize your grain bowl to meet your needs, what you're looking for, what your taste, what you have access to on food. But some of the grains we were just talking, that we're including in our recipes today, I just want to highlight some of them. And just as we're kind of tagging on that quinoa discussion, Christina's right. So we talk about media today is always talking about protein. We know the benefits of protein. Is that it helps with satiety. It helps with muscle development. It helps with blood glucose regulation. And so our goal would be to try to have a high quality lean protein source at most of our eating times throughout the day. Quinoa is wonderful because it is considered a complete protein. What does that mean? A complete protein. So protein is made up of amino acids. There's 20 amino acids, and actually 11 our body can make, no problem. There's 9 that we call essential amino acids that we actually need to get from our diet. We need to get from our food sources. So when we talk about complete protein, it actually has all of those essential amino acids in there that our body needs. So quinoa is a wonderful plant-based protein source if you'd like to incorporate it into your grain bowls.
It has a nutty flavor. I really like the flavor of it, but some people do not. So it all depends on your palate, but you can learn to like it, and you can make pudding out of quinoa.
Yeah.
You can make a breakfast bowl with cinnamon out of quinoa. So many uses.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep going.
Okay. All right. And then the other benefit and we've talked about before, like fiber, wonderful fiber source. And then other as well, nutrients that focus on would be iron, magnesium, and it's gluten-free. I do kind of just want to highlight, talking about iron, is that we want to make sure if we are following a more plant-based eating pattern, that iron is one of those nutrients that we want to be proactive at getting and incorporating it into our food choices. So iron, vitamin D, B12, and
spinach, which I have in my salad.
And salad, okay.
Spinach, yeah. And berries help promote iron out of the spinach because it's bound up there pretty good, is my understanding. But citrus can help.
Citrus, vitamin C sources can help.
Our berry water.
Yeah, absorb the iron.
All right, so here I am now. I'm going to add some hot jalapenos. I like hot. I hope everyone here does because I'm going to share this with the staff. And then talking about extra protein. So my understanding is quinoa, it's not really that balanced in protein. Where's my bag? Okay. It has 6 grams of protein to 30 grams. Bad. Actually, 6 to 30 is not bad ratio with the carbohydrates and the protein because we have the fiber.
Yeah.
But I'm going to boost it a little bit. This isn't garlic powder. That's just the bottle I saved. But I toasted some almond slivers. This talks about peanuts. Some people have peanut allergies, but I did use peanut butter today. Last time I did this demo, I burned my peanuts. So I know how to roast almonds. So I brought slivered almonds. Okay. So yeah. I boost the protein and healthy fat. Healthy fat. You want to talk about nuts and seeds? Sure. Yeah. So we'll just follow on. So the grains, other things we did use, oats. So even though it's actually not a plant-based food, when we're thinking about in our mind, other plants, grains, they actually will have some protein in there. So we have our oats,
And then we have our flax meal that we used in our dessert. It's a good source of omega-3s.
Okay, and I'm gonna make the dressing, which has a wonderful healthy fat in it called extra virgin olive oil. It has some lime and some citrus, and I'm using coconut aminos. The recipe originally called for soy, but I cringe when I look at soy sauce because of the sodium content. With 1 tablespoon is 960 milligrams. I know some people that will use 2 or 3 tablespoons of soy sauce on their food, but coconut aminos only have sodium of 270 milligrams. So I favor coconut aminos. Plus, I'm soy sensitive, so this works great for me. And it has our friend maple syrup. Go ahead, Krista can talk to you now about the frosting that goes on top.
Thank you. So yeah, I'll just follow up on other plant-based protein sources. So other alternative, other items to be thinking about. Beans are a wonderful protein source, great source of fiber as well. Lentils, soy-based products, tofu, edamame, tempeh. This is a soy-based, fermented soy-based product. And then nuts and seeds. So Christina just added the almonds to our salad, but whatever you like, sunflower seeds, walnuts, they're a great source of omega-3s. Whatever you enjoy, adding that can always bulk up a little bit of the healthy fat, which is which we do need. That helps absorb some of our fat soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K. So we want to make sure we have some in our diet. And then it'll bulk up our protein. And then surprisingly, most people might not know that peas, we consider them kind of a carbohydrate, starchy food, but they also can be a source of protein. So by having a variety of different ones will allow you to increase your protein intake, get to the complete protein, the amino acids, increase your fiber, and a little bit of the healthy fat.
Yeah, so do you want to say more about the healthy fat? What is saturated fat?
Yeah.
Anyway, right?
So fair enough. So when we talk about heart healthy fats, there's 2 categories we kind of focus on most. We talk about the saturated fat and we talk about the unsaturated fat. We actually want to focus more on the unsaturated fats. Where do we find those? Our nuts, our seeds, avocado, olive oils. So those are the ones we want to focus. We want to reduce. If we can eliminate, that's great, but we definitely want to try to reduce the saturated fats. Those are often in our fried foods. Those can be in our baked foods. Those are in the high-fat dairy products. We want to minimize those.
They're in meat.
In meat as well. Thank you.
Chicken
Thanks. The skin on the chicken, marbleized in our beef. So
coconut
oil, the tropical oils.
palm oil.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why, we want to minimize those. And a lot of that palm and coconut oil is in ultra processed foods. So you can definitely avoid that by avoiding the ultra processed foods. And I'm going to throw these lime pieces in our water. Why not? Go to waste. Keep going.
Yeah.
I'm still squeezing my limes because I didn't do that last night.
All right. So yeah, for heart health purposes, we really want to focus at finding that reduction in the saturated fat and increasing the unsaturated fat. You can actually on the label, so one is looking at, it's mandatory and looking at labels that they actually have to list. So it'll say the total fat, starting with actually serving sizes. So one thing I always like to clarify with my clients is on the nutrition facts, that'll say a serving size. That is not telling you how much you should eat. What that is telling you is if you were to eat this much, this is the nutritional component of what you'd be eating. So for example, right now I am looking at a bag of chopped pecans. So it's saying the serving size is 1/4 cup. If I was to eat 1/4 cup, it would give me a total fat level. It's saying 20 grams of fat. By law, it actually has to list the saturated fat and the trans fat. It's saying saturated fat is 2 grams. It doesn't by law, it's not mandatory that you have to list the unsaturated fats. Many products are starting to do that, but it's not, they don't have to actually do that. So, but it's just a quick calculation. Total fat, it says 20 grams, saturated fat is 2, trans fat is 0. So then you know there's 18 grams of unsaturated fat in the product.
Great. So now I'm ready. I got my dressing made. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to pour it on here, mix it up. And then I'm going to put our grain bowl together. Yum. Krista,
It's smelling very good. Yeah.
We're going to mix this up. Get it really mixed up well. And I always pull my hair back because my biggest fear is getting hair in my food. You can see this made a lot of portions. There's probably enough here to feed 8 to 10 people. But we're going to take our bowls. I love pretty bowls. So there's our bowls. And then I have some mixed spinach with spring mix. So I'm going to put that in my vase. Oh dear. So exciting. If you put a plain paper towel and shake this up, it won't wilt as quick as if you've bought this kind. It wilts quickly. So we're going to put some grain on top. I hope you have your appetite. I hope you like hot peppers.
Oh, I have a glass of water with me right now.
Okay. We have some fruited water too. So look in, that looks good. If you want to be really fancy, you can take like an extra sprig of parsley to put on top. You could even cut a piece of lime to just stick on there for fanciness. And why don't you open up those pecans? You might as well throw some pecans on top. I brought some tomatoes, but I think I'd like to have some red, so you can pull out. Yeah. Made. So you could add red peppers, green peppers, any type of vegetable you like on top of your grain bowl. And then gives us some red color. Look at that rainbow. So
Yeah, gorgeous.
And then we'll just put a couple of these pecans on top. There we go, about a 1/4 cup of nuts all together. All right, and there we have it.
Gorgeous.
I forgot to bring us forks,
That's, oh.
but there it is. So we'll also pour some fruited water. Maybe I should put it like fruited water. The grain bowl.
The dessert.
Yeah, whoops. I should have a fancy plate here, but I have this here to serve it. So there you have it. There's our healthy lunch. Yay. Thank you all for cooking along with me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Christina. That's it. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Gonna take them?
So I will transition back, thank you, that's gorgeous, back to, we just have a couple more slides that we'll go through, and then an opportunity for questions. I think we continue to talk about and describe to you our focus of trying to more whole foods, less ultra processed foods. Why? Because it provides lots of fiber, vitamins, minerals, protein that our bodies need to be the healthiest version of ourselves that it can be.
And if we are in a pinch, we can buy some of these packaged things. I forgot to put the black beans on our salad, but I will add a few of these black beans for more fiber and protein. Black beans are very nice. You can just rinse them and then put them in a container. You want some black beans on yours?
Oh, I do actually. Thank you. Yeah,
So,
I will.
Here we go. And yeah, so, and then if we click on the Full Plate Living, click thing there, this is a program that's absolutely free from Ardmore Health.
Is that link
Yep,
work for you
it
guys?
should.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear it though?
I might not be able to. Oh, here.
Yeah,
mute that.
there you go. Actually, thumbs up if you can see it.
The 75 point plate. The power of new already know online. Is less. Eat healthier and live life with full plate living.
Perfect. All right. And then here's some movies you could watch to learn more about the benefits of whole food, plant-based, and moving towards that healthier eating. If you want to see Forks Over Knives documentary, you definitely have to go to the website and they want you to sign up for things. Just FYI. Also earlier we talked about Dr. Greger's site, nutritionfacts.org, and some other ones that are now on, like the Twin Study and Live to Be 100 on Netflix. And so if you want to help out your healthcare team, whomever they might be, you might want to think about what areas of lifestyle you may want to focus on and write a specific goal that is specific, measurable. Remember, they're the tiny steps to get you where you want to be. Things that maybe you've had success in the past, but if sometimes we do too much, our gut will be like, oh, too much fiber. So if you can slowly make small steps, better success, then you can set a date and then just build on that good habit and build on that good habit. And that gives you satisfaction. Like when you see your primary care or you see your rheumatologist, you see some specialists, you can talk about how you're going to partner with them with lifestyle. So they feel more free to talk about lifestyle with you. It's easier to have less expensive food when you buy local. So we're coming into summer. I love my organic garden and harvesting right from there. But it's my understanding that if we buy frozen this time of year, it may be more suitable with more nutrition because it's frozen right away after they pick it.
Yeah.
But on the in season, go to your local farm stand or farmer's market or grow your own organic garden. And so finally, Feeling Grateful is a children's book. I love it. It's by Kobe Yamada. And one of the pages talks about we all need to encourage each other's growth. We never underestimate the power of a kind word. And there's always a way to give it, say it, and do it with your heart and your emotion. So do we have any questions?
Thank you all. So that kind of concludes the end of our presentation. We are here for you. Any questions that you may have for us today? You can do it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. I'm going to get, yeah, I'm going to, oh, sorry.
Yep, well, that's a video we have if we have time at the end.
Let's see my chat here.
Is there anything up above?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to see if we I do see something in here. Oh, for the oats in the dessert, rolled or steel cut?
It can be either because you saw that I used a bullet to chop it up. If you don't have the magic NutriBullet or some bullet to do it or some blender, I would not. You can use steel cut. I would use rolled oats if you're doing it by hand. It'd be easier.
Okay.
And let's see, we only have 5 minutes, so let's see, what else do we have? You can unmute.
I'll stop sharing. And how's that? Okay. Any challenges or anything that people have they feel when they're trying to do meal prep or make some changes?
Does anyone want to see part of the video that we had put on our slideshow from Dr. Greger to kind of get a feel for him? Yeah? Okay. Share again.
All right.
Yep, right down here.
Navigating it back to the share
Yep, right there. Yep.
right here.
Perfect. Yep. And then just
Okay.
click on it. It should go. We only watch part of it. You can find it on your own.
There may be no such thing as down for old age. From studying 32,000 consecutive autopsies, centenarians, 100, we have those succumb to disease. 100% of the cases examined, those were perceived even by their physicians to have been healthy just prior to death. Not one died of old age. They died from disease, most commonly heart attack. If aging kills your diseases, why wasn't my book trying to die of the longevity book everyone needs? In it, I ran through what we can prevent restaurants each of 15 leading causes of death from heart disease, not only the number of killers centenarians, but in general, and particularly when decades will come. But is it real? Because the single greatest risk factor for most of our killer diseases is old age, one could argue that the leading cause of death is actual aging. The rate of death increases exponentially for age-related diseases such as heart disease, cancer, stroke, dementia. So, yes, in the same age bracket, the loss rate can increase your risk for diseases by 20-fold. But in the animal, we have 500 times the risk of having a heart attack compared to some in your 20s. Yes, eating a plant-based diet reduces the risk of dementia as much as threefold, but the difference in dementia rates between those older than 85 compared to younger than 65 is threefold. The reason we focus on things like cholesterol is because it's a lot of fun. But what if the rate of aging was modifiable too? Instead of our current peaceful approach to focusing on individual degenerative diseases, what about slowing down the aging process? I can remember as a nerdy kid that wanted to cure cancer when I grew up, but even if all forms of cancer were eliminated, the average life expectancy would only go up about 3 years. Why? Because dodging cancer would just mean delaying death from something like a heart attack and stroke. If one age-related ailment doesn't get us, another will. Rather than taking each disease separately, progress in decelerating aging could address all these issues simultaneously. Imagine if there was an intervention that didn't just reduce your risk of leading killers, but also arthritis, osteoporosis, sensory, just small aging surgery. 61-year-old, 65-year-old health program seems to be and would be expected to cut everyone's risk of death, frailty, and disability in half because the risks tend to double every 7 years. I think that's what I wrote.
Okay, no timing.
We'll just a second. He's going to get into food as medicine.
Oh, okay.
He gets into the food thing and nutrition, huh? Just takes them a minute.
Misinformation.
I guess in the interest of time then. So.
It's easy to be swayed by charismatic boom. When it comes to something as important as the health and well-being of ourselves and our families, we should rely not on anecdotes, but on evidence. That's why we cite everything to the T. How not to die of 2,000 citations, how not to die 5,000, how not to age, and over 13,000 citations, all of which
We'll stop it when it says about food as medicine.
my inspiration for writing How to Age was a consensus document entitled Interventions to Slow Aging in Humans, compiled by the top researchers in individual medicine, the likes of Lewis, Claire, Taylor, the veritable who's who. They were brought together to identify the most promising strategies for combat aging. They identified a list of essential pathways. For example, drugs like blood-related HIV, drugs to block the enzyme true. As I looked through the list, I realized, wait, every single one of these pathways could be regulated through diet. That became the opening section
Okay.
The science of food has been going
Yeah.
for almost a decade.
Okay, so he goes on to talk about how food is medicine and how we can treat and prevent disease through the things that we eat. And those books are actually sectioned off so you could actually look up disease states and figure out stuff for yourself, like if you have a question on different things. So, but that's 11 minutes long and we are out of time. So I thank everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. And here's to eating more plants.
Yes, definitely. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time today. I forgot to say in the beginning, this was so wonderfully timed because March is actually National Nutrition Month. So I'm so glad we were able to make this work today.
Yes,
Have
that
fun.
is why we reached out. So we appreciate your time putting everything together, the slides. I will send out the recipes and the shopping list and the recording after. So thank you again.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.